Alright, so I'm trying to work in the garage again. I've been working on this thing for months. And it feels like I'm not getting anywhere, but I'm actually making a dent. Um, Before there was a path narrower than this, all the way to the back shop back there. Now I've got it actually kind of cleaned out up there. Or it looked like it, but I mean, this all stuff I've taken out. Not all of it, but a lot of it. They've taken out so far, so I'll go into the thrift store. Except for those chains right there. But I've got like 3 or 4 or 5 of these speakers that I don't need. Don't know why I bought them. I had them when I got the camper, so when I was staying in the camper, I could listen to TV or music or whatever. But anyway, so the plan is to take that toolbox right there and put it where this workbench is right here, so it's go up against that wall. And then this workbench is going to go where this cabinet is, 4 feet wide, coming out about 8 feet to about right here. Oh, it'll come out where that table is right there. So there'll still be a skin nail pathway right here, but it's alright. This cabinet and probably the welding cabinet are going to go, well, I'm thinking this one will go, no, let's see. That one will go in this corner because it takes up less space and it won't be used as often. This one will go right here, hiding that light switch. I have no idea what it goes to. I'm wondering if there's a light in the attic. That might go to that, I don't know. One of these days I'll have to Mary flip the switch one up in the attic. But this one will go here. These two, like I said, the little red one will go beside it right there. The big red one will go right here. Or vice versa, we'll play that by ear. And then this cabinet here, shelf rather, excuse me. And this shelf back here. Those two are going to go right here, coming out this way. They'll sit like this, with this side up against the wall, back to back. So I can access all my stuff there, paints and oils and fluids and shit like that. Of course, a lot of that's going to get tossed out, and that way I can. So this will be gone. All of this will be still under the shelf, under the workbench, but it'll be sitting right here instead, under the workbench. And there's actually a lot of room under there. So like this bandsaw will go up on the shelf, on the workbench. This cut off miter saw, excuse me, will go up on probably on that side of the workbench. I'll put the drill press on that side of the workbench. I've got another drill press actually right there, a smaller one. That one was my dad's. That one, I got that one from well, I don't know if he's a friend of mine or not, but Don Kaiser was a partner of mine years ago, and on the job. Yeah, I don't know, one minute he was nice to me, next minute he was a total dick, so I don't know, but I bought it from him years ago, and it works great, so. Anyway, side story for, kind of funny, for like 20 years, Don retired a couple years before I did, but for at least 20 years, I was constantly getting accused of saying things that he had said, and vice versa, because although our names, Kaiser and Cousins, don't really sound much alike, we looked, according to other people, we looked very much, I didn't see it, but other people said we looked alike. And so it was kind of nice once he retired, because then I was only getting accused of things I actually did and said. So, anyway. Oh, I'm going to take that shelf out right there because the toolbox, as you can see, is about the same height as this shelf here, which, as you can see, is probably 3 or 4 inches taller than that shelf. So, that shelf's going to come out. I might put it over here on the back wall somewhere, over the top of the whichever toolbox goes there. This is taking a lot more time than I would like it to have it because of the rain, mostly. If it wasn't raining, I'd put the bike out there and I'd move these toolboxes out where the bike is. But it was storm. I mean, it was raining so hard inside my house. I could hear the rain hitting the roof, which is doing something, because we've got a high peaked roof with R30 insulation in it, and so normally we don't hear any noise outside. I mean, you could ride up to the house on a loud Harley almost and not hear it. So, anyway, I think I'm going to leave that cabinet there with those with those two cabinets on top of it. I think I'll leave those there. If there's enough room, I don't think there will be, but if there's enough room, I might try to move this cabinet down about 2.5 feet, so then I can push that air compressor into the corner. I was thinking about running an air PVC line through the wall right about here. Maybe come down a little bit, but running a PVC line through 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch, whatever, probably 1/2 inch, and then put threaded fittings on it, so I can put a fitting on this on each side, so I can run a short hose from here to there, and then instead of having all this hose in here, you can put a hose reel outside and just keep it plugged in. So it doesn't kick on and off. It doesn't leak at all. So you can leave it turned on and plugged in, and it won't turn on until you're using enough air. But anyhow, that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment. Right now, I'm just trying to clean this off, and I've made a huge dent in it. So what I'm going to do is kind of slide this box back over there, and kind of stuff's going to get put back in a box, unfortunately, for now. But and then I can, once I get it pushed back over there up against this stuff out of the way, then I can move this down a little bit, and then I can start cleaning off this tool cabinet. All these parts bins, screw bins, will sit over here with this. And these are buckets of nails, like 8-penny, 16-penny, or vice versa, whichever. And those are, I think those are 8-penny Galvies. I'm not sure. And those, if I remember correctly, that's a box of screws right there. And of course, you can see those are hose clamps right there. And those are antique scales, weights. They go to these J-hook scales from turn of the century, or before, I think, actually. But so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I've got 5 of those. I've got 6 weights. I think I had one or two more weights than what I had in the scale itself. Or I'm not sure if you call that a scale, but whatever you call those things. So, and I am finding things that I didn't know that I had. Or, well, let me rephrase that. I'm finding things that I forgot that I had. So that's kind of nice. I found some old movies that I'd forgotten about, and so forth and so on, such like that. And I've got a lot of this is all organized better. It was just kind of empty shelf. That's empty. That is as it says, tire plug kit, and there's another one down in that green box down there. That's a heat gun for doing electronics or auto electrics, for heat shrink and that kind of stuff. That is a Craftsman 5 or 7 inch grinder, buffer, polisher thing. And of course, you see I've got 2 hot water heater straps, which I don't know why I keep them. I probably should get rid of them. They're not that expensive to buy new ones, and I couldn't find them. They were buried back here on that shelf back there. And a couple of years ago, my garage was infinitely less organized. But I had a new hot water heater put in there a couple of years ago, and he asked if I had new straps because they can't legally. I guess they can't use the old. He could, I could, but he couldn't use the old straps. He could have, but if anybody found out, he'd lose his license or could get fined. I don't know what the deal was. Anyway, and I couldn't find them. Now that I found them, I don't need them because he had 2 of them in his truck and he put them in. It's probably bullshit, but I know the code does require 2 straps, and there they are. I knew I had them. I just couldn't find them. And those are a new set of brakes. You know how I end up with them? I must have bought an extra set for my black Ford pickup. And of course, butane fuel, a new lamp. I think I'm going to put that up out here somewhere. I'm not sure yet. And that's screen door hardware, spring and all that kind of stuff. Those are taillights, trailer taillights. Those are LED trailer taillights. There's a set of 2 and a set of 4, I guess. Kayak racks. You go on top of my SUV there. Or, I don't know if I put those on Mary's car or not, actually. We got them originally for a green Ford Escape. And we got rid of the Ford Escape because the engine blew up on it. And then so I figured we'd use them on that Ford Escape. And we never did. And then we used them on that Ford Escape. Never did. So I ended up getting rid of 2 of my kayaks. I still have 1 left. And I don't know if this thing has, let's see. No, this car doesn't have a rack system like all these other cars do. So I keep them for use with the Jeep here then in that case. See, I basically would just take this thing off and they would mount to this, to these crossbars here. And I think, not positive, I'm going to check it out, but I think I can take the crossbars off of that car or that car over there and make them fit that car. That'd be kind of cool. Not that I really need them, but nice to have an extra set to clutter up the garage because I don't have enough in here. The biggest problem I'm having at this point is, I think that's what I was looking for right there. Good, okay. There it goes to the remote control, which is, I don't know where it went now. Anyway, the biggest problem I'm having right now is where to put shit. It's a big garage, but there's not a lot of storage space. There's absolutely no cabinets. I'm sorry, there was that one little skinny little cabinet there. It's like 2 feet wide on the outside. And then, of course, is my freezer, I mean. And I got this, which once I get this all tackled, my next project is this. So these big boxes are going to be eliminated. And I've got, not sure where they're at. Oh, down there. These 4 plastic tubs with the lids that fold over and interlock each other. So I got 3 or 4 of those things. So all of this will go into those tubs and take up less space up there. Plus I can stack them. It's like those 3 boxes there, plus whatever's in that milk crate there. All of that can go into 4 of these tubs, and it'll take up less space than this one box here. So I'm just trying to arrange things around so that I can move this shelf workbench out of the way. This workbench, believe it or not, was if you go out to the auction like Denio's or the Roseville Road auction in Rancho Cordova, or the auction out in Stockton. I actually got at the auction in Stockton. One of the guys he was closing up his booth permanently, and I told him I'd sure love to have one of these here for my my workshop, set up for a workbench. And he goes, yeah, if you want to take it. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, I don't have her help herself. But I was loading up on my car trailer. I had my car trailer with me there for some reason. I had my car trailer there. And some grumpy old bastard came along and, what's that you doing? You can't steal those. Said, I'm not stealing it. That guy right there told me I could have it. Those aren't his to give away. I said, well, that's between you and him. He gave it to me. I'm taking it. He didn't like my attitude. Sucks to be him. Anyhow, so I called over to the guy. Hey, this guy's telling me you didn't have the right to give me that, and he's trying to make me threatening to call the cops on me or something like that. I think he's threatening to call security or cops or something. And he comes over and he goes, hey, I own those. Those are mine. You have no right to those. They do not belong to the auction. You call Casey. Casey owned the auction, and Casey was a friend of ours. He's a friend of mine. He's passed away now. But he was a friend of my dad and mine, and that other guy knew him personally as well. Pretty much everybody did, really. Okay, he was a real friendly guy. Well, I don't care who you know. Those belong to the auction. Won't call the cops. Well, you get to calling them then, because we'll call Casey Daniel. You won't have a job when you're done. He ended up backing down eventually, but we argued with him for well over probably an hour at least. And this, believe it or not, this workbench, I get this when I lived in when I owned my house up in Pollock Pines. That's when I got this. This thing sat out in the snow and the weather for several years. I think I had the house for about 5 years, 6 years, something like that. And it sat out in the backyard, would get covered in snow, and this is inch and an eighth tongue and groove subfloor, and it's still solid. It didn't rot it out or nothing. You get a little bit on the edges here, but once I get it all cleaned up, I'm gonna do something to the top, sand and finish the top. I think I'll cut this tongue off here, and I might glue it into the groove on the other side just to store up the other side a little bit. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. And I've only been out here for a couple hours now, but I think I didn't wake up till about 10 minutes to 2 this afternoon. I was up all night. I was out there tweaking in the garage all night long, so I won't be out here as long as it was last night because my heater died. Right there's my heater, and it's a propane. The wife's up. It's a propane heater, but my propane tank died on me, and I don't have any backups. Oh, wait a minute, I might actually have a backup. So if I have a backup, I'll be out here all night long. I was blaring music, as you heard, I think. There's my speaker there. Another speaker in the shop, and my stereo is playing a James Brown CD. Before that, it was on my Bluetooth on my cell phone. But when I'm doing a video, I can't it won't do the Bluetooth music at the same time, which kind of sucks. So anyway, I'm gonna excuse me, how are you back to work? I am gonna build. I've got 2x4s and some 2x6s. There's this 2x6s right there, and I'm gonna build a motor mount for this outboard motor right there. I'll probably put it on along the side of the table here can bolt the 2x4 to the table, and then use lag screws. They got a shit ton of those, and lag screw the 2x6s into the 2x4s. Maybe I've got some inch wide by 4 inch long corner brackets that I'll put on there to add a little support. And that way my motor's not just sitting somewhere like that. It'll be easier access and all that. I mean, I could have just lay it down and put it underneath here, but you're not supposed to lay those down because the oil can leak out of them, and I don't know which side not to lay that on, so I'm just going to I just stand it up. And then once I get it cleared up enough, I'll put it on the shelf, on the bracket I build. So, like this stuff here, these chairs are probably going to go up there on the top shelf up there in that corner right there. So I don't know. We shall see. I still got a lot to do here. I make a plan and then I get halfway through it and then I'm changing my plan on that. So also got this air compressor back here. Thing is in mint condition. It puts out 13 point something CFM of air, which is almost unheard of for a small 20-gallon air compressor. But I bought that from a friend of my dad's years ago, about 25, 30 years ago. There was a store years back in Sacramento called the Air Tool Store. And Jack Cardenas, I believe his last name was, something like that. And Jack and his brother owned the store, and Jack's son worked there as well. I think he might have been part owner too. I'm not positive. Anyway, so Jack died, and the brother and or son closed the store, and which is a shame because if you needed an air tool, they had it. If you need an air tool accessory, they had it. And they were a little pricey, but they were the only people around, so they could afford to be pricey, which is kind of a shitty way of running your business. But I mean, if they had brought the prices down to more reasonable, like that air compressor, I think I paid $600 for that thing, and comparable 20-gallon air compressor from Sears or Harbor Freight, any of those places was at the time half the price of what I paid for this one. So, but that thing would run a sandblaster. I know because I ran a sandblaster with it several times when I was working on this 1964 Chevy truck, and I sandblasted the flatbed and the frame, and then I ended up selling the truck before I finished it. But with the intention was to do a restoration on it. And I found these really cool old hooks, which I'll find a place for them somewhere in here. I'm not sure where yet, but and when it's not running an air compressor, I actually have I've lost it at the moment, but I've got a three-way valve thing. Let's see, I think I've got a two-way valve still here somewhere. This looks like. Yep, here's all my air tool stuff. So I've got the two-way valve where you plug this in, and you can run two air lines off of it. But they have one that's round, and it's got three air chucks on it. What do we call those? And you can run three lines. That air compressor will run impact gun, you name it. It'll run two or three at a time. So I don't want to get rid of it unless I absolutely have to. Once I get all this stuff all switched around and cleaned up, this stuff won't be here. That actually normally sits up there. But that's a Harley Davidson Monopoly game, by the way. And it has never been opened. It's a collector's item, so I just collected it. But I may take that air compressor and just put it right here across this and shove it in that. I've got stuff in there right now, but that's all going to get rearranged as well. So, if I stay back here, I stay relatively warm. If I put a shirt on, probably would be warmer. But you get down there by the blue air thing, and it starts getting a bit chilly out there. So I got two of another right here. I like this one better, but this one I think might have quit working on me. I got to test it out. There we go. Oh, there's a switch. Yeah. Well, if it's dead, I'll just toss it out. But it was good. I'll keep it. I actually like it better than this one here. If I remember correctly, that one put out more air volume. Okay, plug it in. Test, reset, test. Okay, line is hot. Oh, that didn't just pop a second. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, see? It could just be a switch. If I recall, still plugged in, yep, okay. And I know power's on because all this is on, so. Oh. Okay, so it does work. Something's in there. Discombobulated inside that, so maybe I'll just take it apart and figure out what's scraping where. And then do something with it. I know it wasn't put out very much air. Now that one's putting out more volume than this one here, which is interesting. But anyway, I can get back to work. Y'all have a good day. I'm procrastinating.